This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you are the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Episode 321, AI for Better Local Restaurant Discoveries in 2026. Good day. I'm your host, Robin, and today I want to talk about one of the genuine pleasures of living in or near a town or city, eating in good restaurants, and specifically about the disconnect that most people experience between the richness of what is actually available to them locally and the relatively narrow set of places they actually visit. Most people have a small rotation of restaurants they go to regularly, a few more that they visit occasionally for specific occasions, and a large number of places in their own neighborhood or city that they have never tried and may not even know exist. This is not a character flaw. It is a natural consequence of time pressure, habit, and the difficulty of finding good information about new places before committing to an evening there. In 2026, AI has become a genuinely useful tool for expanding that rotation intelligently and for reducing the risk of a disappointing experience when you try somewhere new. Imagine you want to go out for dinner on a Saturday evening. You want something genuinely good, not necessarily expensive, but somewhere that will feel like an occasion, with interesting food, a decent atmosphere, and the particular pleasure of being somewhere you have not been before. You think of your usual places. They are fine, and you know they are reliable, but you have been to all of them recently, and you want something different. You open a review app and search for restaurants near you, sorted by rating. The top results are the places you already know, because they are the ones that have accumulated the most reviews over time. The genuinely interesting newer places, the smaller establishments with fewer, but more enthusiastic reviews, the specific style of cuisine you have been curious about but have never tried. These are harder to find through conventional search because the algorithm rewards volume and history rather than fit. AI-powered restaurant discovery tools have moved significantly beyond simple rating aggregation in ways that address this specific problem. Tools like Google Maps, with its AI recommendation layer, Yelp's personalized discovery features, and dedicated apps like Infatuation Scout feature now incorporate a much richer picture of what makes a restaurant right for a specific person or occasion rather than simply ranking by average rating. When you tell the AI what you are looking for, a date night that feels genuinely special without being formal, a family lunch with children under 8, a solo dinner at the bar where you might be able to read, a group celebration for people with mixed dietary requirements, it surfaces places that match those specific conditions rather than simply the highest-rated places in a given radius. The contextual intelligence of these recommendations is what makes them genuinely more useful than a sorted list. Cuisine exploration is an area where AI discovery tools are particularly exciting. Most people's restaurant rotation is weighted toward cuisines they are already familiar and comfortable with: the reliable Italian, the trusted Indian, the Chinese that the whole family agrees on. The world of cuisine is vastly wider than this, and in most towns and cities of reasonable size, there are restaurants representing food traditions that most residents have never tried. AI recommendation tools that understand your existing preferences and can identify the cuisines and specific dishes that are most likely to appeal based on what you already enjoy can introduce you to places you would never have found by browsing a generic restaurant map. If you enjoy the balance of acidity and heat in Thai food, the AI might identify Ethiopian food as something with similar structural qualities that you are statistically likely to enjoy. If you consistently rate umami-rich Japanese dishes highly, it might point you toward a Korean restaurant where the same depth of flavor appears in a different context. Neighborhood specificity is something AI restaurant tools have gotten much better at. The difference between restaurants that are beloved by their local neighborhood regulars and restaurants that exist primarily to capture tourists or footfall from nearby attractions is significant in terms of quality and authenticity, and it is a distinction that traditional star ratings do not capture well. AI tools that analyze the demographic profile of a restaurant's reviewers, whether they are mostly locals who return regularly or mostly one-time visitors, rating alongside hundreds of similar one-time visitors, can help you find the places that the neighborhood actually loves rather than the places that happen to be well-positioned on a tourist route. Timing intelligence is another area of practical value. Restaurant quality and experience vary significantly based on when you go. A kitchen at full capacity on a busy Saturday evening is under different pressures than the same kitchen on a quiet Tuesday night, and the experience can differ accordingly. AI tools that incorporate booking patterns, historical wait times, typical kitchen performance across different days and service periods, and the specific advice that appears in reviews mentioning timing can help you identify the conditions under which a restaurant performs at its best and plan your visit accordingly. For restaurants with limited seating or high demand, AI booking tools that monitor availability and notify you when a slot opens at your preferred time have also improved significantly. Review synthesis and quality signal extraction is where AI genuinely outperforms the unassisted reading of reviews. Reading the full review set for a restaurant to form a view of it is time-consuming and produces inconsistent results because individual reviews vary enormously in quality, specificity, and relevance. An AI that has read all of the reviews for a restaurant can tell you not just that the overall rating is 4.2 stars, but that the consistent praise concentrates on a specific section of the menu, and that the consistent criticism relates to service speed during busy periods. That the kitchen has been significantly better in the last 6 months than in the period before that based on the temporal distribution of positive versus critical reviews, and that reviewers who share your stated preferences have rated it significantly higher than the overall average. This quality of specific, synthesized intelligence from large bodies of text is exactly what AI does well and what a human reader cannot practically replicate at scale. The honest thing I want to say is about the nature of discovery and risk in restaurant choices. The most interesting restaurants are not always the ones with the most reviews or the highest aggregate ratings, because the most interesting restaurants are often newer, smaller, more specific, and operating in a space where the audience who truly appreciates them has not yet had the chance to accumulate in the review databases. AI tools can surface these places and provide the best available evidence about them. But evidence for newer or less reviewed places is by definition thinner. Trying somewhere genuinely new always involves some acceptance of uncertainty, and that uncertainty is part of what makes the great discoveries so genuinely pleasurable. The AI reduces the risk, it does not eliminate the adventure. Eating well, in places that feel alive and specific and cared for, is one of the genuine pleasures that most of us have more access to than we realize. AI is a useful guide through the landscape of what is actually available, but the decision to try something new, to walk through an unfamiliar door into an unfamiliar room and trust that something good is waiting, is a human one, and it is always worth making. Next time, we will talk about how AI can help you plan more affordable date nights, because investing in the relationship in your life that matters most should not require spending more than you can comfortably afford. Have a wonderful day.